You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
Well, hello, America. Happy Hump Day. That's right. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. This is Rick Robinson coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com, where we kick this thing off every Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, coming to you live right now. We've got about 60-ish seconds to showtime. I promise we are coming right back. I know there's lots of commercials in the beginning. That's why I break in to give you guys a reprieve. We'll be right back here in about 60 seconds. Please stay tuned. I have a special guest coming in after the monologue. As we collect our thoughts alone. Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
You know this freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty.
Welcome, America. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Again, we're coming to you live from KLRNradio.com. Again, where we do this thing live every Monday through Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Also, if you can't catch us then, that's all right. We're on Memorex all over the place, so you can catch us on AMFM247.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us on the Lanterns Radio Network every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. You can catch us on the Talk America Radio Network, the Liberty Channel, every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern, and we're available on crndigitaltalk.com, going out to 11 million homes every Friday and Saturday night, right there on that particular network, and we are live. We are on there at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. Sorry, so many times and time zones to keep straight. All right, so I've got about 3 minutes before we bring the guest on. Gives me just enough time to do a little bit of a monologue. I got about 3 minutes of a bone to pick with the American public right now. And it's the flip-flops. It's the change-ups. It's all of you that have been mad for the last 8 years over every single executive order that Obama has put across his desk, and now you're all cheering for Trump to do the same thing. It's the flip-flops on those of you that were mad and angry as heck that Michelle Obama talked about the fact that the White House was built by slaves. But now you're fine with apparently the president telling his friends that the White House is a dump. And vice versa. Everybody that excused Michelle, and you're now yelling at Trump, I don't understand the flip-flops. Consistency matters, people. If you believe in something like the Constitution, then you should be upset about executive orders 99.9% of the time. Unless it's something to rescue a turkey on Thanksgiving, that's really about the only thing they should be used for. Because they are nothing but basically glorified signing statements. They shouldn't amount to anything because they are an end run around Congress. Remember, that body that everybody says they hate, but they keep sending the same ones back in over and over again. I'm really confused by that, too, just for the record. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to have Ben Wilhelm on. I think I just mispronounced his last name, so I will let him fix that if I'm wrong in just about a minute or so when we take the first break. Actually, I guess we're about to that now. But anyway, I will bring him in a second, and we're actually going to talk about that body Congress and an article that he's put out that explains quite a few things about who we should actually blame about what's going on with the repeal and replace movement and everything else. But on that note, it is about time for us to get the first commercial out of the way, which is great for you guys because that means I get to shut up for about 60 seconds. It also means I'll have somebody else talking with me when we get back. So stay tuned. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We will be back in just a little over 60 seconds. Don't go away. And of course, I queued the wrong one, but that means I can keep talking for a second until it actually loads up and finishes what I told it to do. All right, so it is officially break time, folks. We will be back here in just a minute. Don't go away.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
All right, folks, welcome back again. This is America Off the Rails, coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com, and I am joined by a very special guest, Mr. Ben Wilhelm. We've actually hung out for a bit on Twitter and been involved in some groups together. He is actually a writer for the New Americana, and that's actually why we're bringing him on tonight, is to discuss some of his recent work there. So why don't you take a moment, introduce yourself, sir, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. Hey, Rick, thanks for having me on. I tell you what. It's been an awesome opportunity to write for New Americana. As you know, I had my own blog for a while, and I really love writing for this group because it's a group that believes a lot of the same things you and I believe: small government, federalism. People ruling themselves. For those of people that don't know me, I'm a divorced father of two boys, and I am a Army veteran, served in Afghanistan for a year as commander of a forward surgical team. And then, of course, I got out in 2012 and have been living the good civilian life ever since then. So I've gotten a little bit of the best of both worlds. I've seen our military and our government at its best and at its worst. And unfortunately, we seem to be trending on the larger scale toward the worst lately. And one of the reasons I wrote this last article was seems to me we keep blaming the wrong people. We keep wanting to blame our politicians, but, who put them there? We do. And we keep putting the same people in over and over and over again for decades. I mean, there are people in Congress who have been there since I was 5 years old. I'm almost 38 years old now. And how somebody can stay in government that long and not be corrupted is impossible. So we got to start doing a better job picking who our leaders are. As you well know, we're not a democracy. For all the talk we do about democracy, we're actually a republic. We don't make the decisions. We pick the people who make the decisions. And frankly, I think the true blame for us not getting the things we want is we need to start doing a better job with our responsibilities and start doing a better job picking those leaders.
But you want us to be responsible? Come on, I thought that's what we sent people to Washington for. We don't want to deal with this stuff on a daily basis, man. We just want to sit in front of our TV with our shoes off and our feet kicked up, munching on our nachos and watching whatever's on TV, usually some crazy reality TV show, which they might as well do one now about the White House. Just saying.
Well, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Rick, because, some people actually believe that. Some people, look what we saw with the last election cycle. We had so many people just believe, we're not going to have to worry about anything. Trump's going to take care of everything. And on the other side, the leftist side, for the 8 years before that, everybody thought their life was going to magically get better because Barack Obama was going to be president. And how did that work out for everyone? His staunchest supporters still can't find jobs. They still can't afford health care, but now they're penalized for not having health care, or for health insurance, rather. Health care is available to everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's clarify it, but you caught it. I want to back up to something you said a second, because I remember the night that he got elected, and there was, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but there was a young lady that got interviewed just after he got elected, and they caught her at a gas pump filling up her car. And one of the things that she told the world was, as far as she was concerned, now that Barack Obama was president, she wasn't going to have to worry about having to find gas money to fill up her car. She wasn't going to have to worry about finding gas money or money to pay her rent. She honestly thought that with him in office, everything that she needed was going to be provided for her. And the sad thing is,
Obama money.
Obama money. Obama money, Obama phone, Obama cars. I mean, look, the sad thing is there is a segment of our population, and unfortunately that segment seems to be growing, that honestly thinks that is the responsibility of government. And part of what is driving me crazy today is the one thing that this most recent round of, you put us in and we'll repeal all this crap, but now no, we can't do it. It proves to me that is incessant in both parties, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. And that's a huge problem for me, because the GOP, which I have officially left, I haven't been a member since March of 2016, the GOP used to be the party of small government. They cannot make that claim anymore. They are the party of go along to get along, and we want just as much power as the Democrats. We just tried to lie to you more to get you there.
And that's exactly right. You know, and you hit the nail again. It's amazing to me because in some ways I actually have a little bit more respect for the Democratic Party as than I do the Republicans, and that's in spite of the fact that I don't agree with a dang thing the Democrats say. But at least they're honest about the fact that they think government should be in control in just about every aspect of our lives. You know, the GOP they're wonderful at spouting conservative talking points, but then when you actually put them in charge of anything, they're worse than useless. So I think Ted Cruz nailed it the other day when he said, a party cannot stay in power by lying to the American people. Well, the Democrats lied for years about how Obamacare was going to be, and now the Republicans have lied about repealing it. I'm not overly concerned because, like you, I have left the GOP. I don't see them as any different than the Democrats, but I don't see them hanging on to both houses of Congress next year.
I will honestly be amazed if they manage to pull it off. I'm not saying that they can't, because I've seen weirder things. I mean, the weirdest thing about it is no matter how close the GOP seems to be getting to imploding based on the fact that they can't seem to transition from the opposition party to the governing party, the Democratic Party is having the exact same problem from the opposite direction. They can't seem to wrap their head around the fact that they're the minority party and they're imploding almost as quickly, if not more quickly, than the GOP. The issue is the media is still helping the Democratic Party, because for every 20 scandals that should be in the news right now, the only thing they're talking about is the Russia scandal. And look, I want to know the truth just like everybody else does when it comes to that Russia stuff. But the problem that I have with all of it is we already know that the Democratic Party has done almost everything, and we have proof that they have done everything that they're accusing the Trump administration of. So if anything, it's a huge case of the pot calling the kettle black. And if both parties are legitimately corrupt, and I'm beginning to believe that they might be, then it's up to us, the American people, to do something about that. And the only option at this point is to embrace the fact that they are actually, and this is just my opinion, so take it or leave it, in my opinion, they have become what everyone else likes to jokingly call the uniparty, and it's time for an actual legitimate second party to come into play so that we have an alternative, one that is actually focused on the things that the GOP used to claim to stand for, and now they do not. And they have proven it time and time again that they do not. What concerns me is now that the Democratic Party has become the minority party, now they're parroting a lot of the language that the GOP used to use. Now we see today that some of the Democrats are talking about floating pro-choice candidates, or pro-life candidates, which has a lot of the more entrenched Democrats really concerned. Rosie O'Donnell actually joked about leaving the Democratic Party because she didn't think that they should be floating pro-life candidates. That is part of the problem, because when we don't allow everybody to have a voice, there's a problem. Look, I don't care how crazy they are. Everybody should have at least have a voice and have the ability to have their opinions be heard. They should then be told they're nuts and told to move on about their merry way. But they should still have the ability to have their voices and their opinions be heard. That's what this country was founded upon. Everybody gets a chance to bring their idea to the table, and then we decide whether it's an idea that we like or not. Up until now, we decided that we wanted to be liberty-minded, free, and everything that goes with that. Sadly, some people seem to be corrupting that. I'll give you about the next 30 seconds, and we got to take a break.
Well, I tell you what, it's funny, and we do need that second party, but it's so hard to pull it together. I know some fine folks that are, and you do too, that are trying to put this together, but nobody seems to want to jump off the cliff. Our mothers, everybody who grew up had a mother who said, well, if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you do it too? Well, nobody wants to jump off the cliff without everybody else. And people need to take individual responsibility. Worry about your vote. Don't worry about what millions of other people are doing. Worry about what you're doing. Does this person that I'm voting for reflect my values? Do they care about what I care about? Don't worry about everybody else. And if everybody just did that, we might start making some progress.
Very wise words from my guest, Mr. Ben Wilhelm. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Welcome back, America. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson, and again, we are coming to you live from KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. And we have a very special guest, Mr. Ben Wilhelm, who's actually a first-time guest on the show, but actually a pretty long-time friend on Twitter, social media, and around the interwebs. So I'd like to bring him back on at this point, and we'll continue the conversation. And at this point, sir, you are welcome to take the topic in any direction you wish, because I think we closed out pretty well on that last segment.
Yeah, I think we hit that, and we could probably do a whole show on how, voting for Trump related to what we talked about, but I don't think we need to go there at this moment. But, what I was talking about boils down to what we as conservatives have always talked about, and that's taking personal responsibility. And it has to do with every aspect of our lives, is taking personal responsibility. And, I'm working on another piece for New Americana right now. I hope to have out, by this weekend, about how people don't take responsibility for the way they raise their kids. People want to make excuses for how their kids turn out, and it's like, well, who raised them? You had this 17-year-old kid being sentenced to prison the other day who, and I'll talk about this in my article when it comes out, he was laughing when his murder victim's mother was reading her statement tearfully. His mother decides to defend him, say, well, that's part of his mental problems. Well, he's 17 years old, which means he's not an adult yet. What were you doing, Mom, to keep this from going on? But people always want to make excuses for their kids. My little boy's 5. When he was 2, and this is kind of a silly, very low example, but when he was 2, I picked him up from his daycare one day, and he had a bite mark on his arm. And I had asked what had happened, and his teacher said, well, another child bit him. And I said, okay, why? And he said, well, your son pushed him down and took his toy. I looked at my son while I was holding him. I said, I'd have bit you too. It's just, we got to take responsibility for how we're raising our kids. If our kids end up, all messed up and committing crimes or joining Antifa, then maybe we need to take responsibility for that. These Antifa guys always wearing masks like ISIS. Why? Because they don't want their rich mommies and daddies to figure out what they're doing and cut them off. So
I'm glad I'm not the only one that's actually thought that, because I've had that same thought before. I was like, I guarantee you every single one of these punks that's wearing a mask right now is because they're afraid mommy and daddy will cut off their gold cards if they figure out what they're doing with their spare time.
That's exactly right. Like, down with capitalism, I tweeted from my iPhone. They just don't even get it. I mean, I had an argument on Twitter with last night, or should I say a discussion, a 3-way argument with a very special friend of mine, and some guy that jumped in saying, well, Venezuela doesn't have socialism. I said, oh, here we go with that's not real socialism argument, because you hear this argument all the time. That's not real socialism. They always think real socialism is going to result in this beautiful utopian, Star Trek in the 24th century kind of thing where everybody's happy and we don't need money, etc. Well, it's called science fiction for a reason, folks. It's not ever going to happen. That is real socialism. People say, well, compare it to, this guy wanted me to compare it to Norway. Well, yeah, Norway's relatively stable for being a socialist country, but it's easy to spend a lot of your money on domestic programs when somebody else is picking up the big ticket items like national defense. Us. The Europeans spend all this money on their socialized medicine and their welfare, et cetera, and even they're going broke. I mean, look how bad the EU is off, places like Greece and other countries. But you know what? They don't have to spend billions of dollars on national defense because they expect us to take care of everything. But when it comes to Venezuela, how about if we compare Venezuela to Venezuela? Look at Venezuela a few decades ago, one of the most powerful economies in the Western Hemisphere. They've got an abundance of national resources. It's a beautiful country, and now their people are starving and eating flamingos from the zoo because that's all the food they have. It's insane to me that these people keep wanting us to go towards socialism. What is the logic of wanting to go towards socialism other than being lazy?
Well, the problem is, and this is, and honestly, I have this hurts to say because I'm a fan. The problem with socialism is Gene Roddenberry put a very big, pretty bow around the concept of socialism, because he basically made it look like if we can come together as a country and as a world and as a society and do things to make things better for everybody else and stop all this little penny ante squabbling crap that we can do, these are the things that we can do in the future. So, and he told if you actually go back and you read a lot of the things Roddenberry said, that was his goal. Roddenberry was a socialist. He used the idea of Star Trek and this future utopia to push an idea onto the American people that this is where we need to go, because he was a socialist at heart. And he told everybody that. He didn't hide it. He's another one of those, like you were talking about. And as painful as it is for me to say, I agree with you. I respect the Democrats a hell of a lot more, because at least they will tell you to your face that they want to take your money and give it to somebody else. The Republicans say, no, vote for us and we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Hey, you see that 20 that he's got in his hand right there? Yeah, you can have that. Well, you just told me you weren't going to do it. I mean, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. All right, so believe it or not, we're up against a break again. This one's a hard break. I got to take it. It's bottom of the hour. We will be right back here in about 4 minutes. Are you staying around, or I'm assuming?
I'll stick around with you. My time is your time, brother.
All right, just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to keep you on if you had something else to do. All right, so my guest will be returning with us after the break. We'll be back here in about 4 minutes. Stay tuned.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty HealthShare is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty HealthShare and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org. All right, folks, we are back. We are live, and I'm still with my guest, Ben Wilhelm. We're actually going to continue the conversation that we were having before we were forced to take a break. And that was actually, this idea of, Gene Roddenberry basically putting socialism in this nice, big, pretty package. And all of the other people that have benefited from this idea of socialism while telling us that we needed to curtail ourselves. Bernie Sanders comes to mind. Mr. I have 3 houses, but I don't think you should own one because you should rent from somebody because it's more economically feasible. Then I'll let you have DiCaprio because we were talking about him off the break.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, there's so much hypocrisy on the left. I mean, you get into the climate change, and it's maybe even worse than the socialism argument. They talk about how we need to stop driving our SUVs, but he gives a speech to the UN about how we have got to curb climate change right after he got off of his private plane. And this is the same guy who celebrated New Year's a couple years twice in the same year because he hopscotched time zones from Australia to Las Vegas on a private jet. You know what? He's got the money. He's been very successful at what he does. He's got the money. I don't begrudge him doing that, but don't come over here and tell me that I have to trade in my pickup truck that I love for a hybrid Prius that looks like a clown car because you want to go off and do whatever it is you want, but you want to tell me how to live my life.
And that's part of the annoying thing for me because the socialist crowd, the climate change crowd, they're all part of the same thing. This is all, no matter what package they put it in, this is all about control. The folks that are wanting Obamacare to implode so that the government can swoop in and put in socialized medicine, that's about control. The folks that want us focused on climate change, that's about control because then they can tell you what kind of house you can buy. They can tell you what kind of car you can drive. It's socialism. All of it. It's all the same thing. It is about a small group of people wanting to maintain control over a larger group of people, and that's what it's been about. That's what it's been about all along.
Mm-hmm. And they try to guilt us into believing it. Oh, you want people to die because they didn't have health care. Well, you know what? Doctors, nurses, surgeons, these folks go to school for many years and spend a great deal of money getting that education. They deserve to be compensated for it. And a lot of them don't do it for the money. They do it because they feel it's a calling. But how many of our best and brightest are going to continue being doctors if they get paid $15 an hour, which, oh, by the way, is exactly what they want for the same guy who flips hamburgers, but they want to pay a doctor with that? I've got a very good friend, and she's a doctor, and she worked her butt off, paid for her own medical school, etc. And I happen to know she's got a good heart, and she doesn't do it for the money. But I tell you what, though, there's a woman that deserves to be compensated for her time. We can't just you can't just expect everybody to do everything for free because you need it. Your need is irrelevant to what I can provide. And what drives me as a Christian, what drives me the most insane are people who cite the Bible thinking Jesus was a socialist. Jesus told us to help the poor. And yeah, but Jesus also said he who doesn't work shall not eat. Jesus didn't say give the Romans all the money in the world and they'll go take care of the poor. They said you go take care of the poor. So if you feel so strongly that there are people who need help, you go do it. And getting back to what we were talking about, those people that are the biggest proponents of socialism, saying we need to help the poor, I don't see them giving away their fortunes. You know, you've got the Bill and Melinda Gates of the world who are billionaires. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be billionaires, but they're out saying we need to give up our money. I don't see them living in a modest house, driving a Toyota, so that they can give up all their money to other people. You know, it's very much a do what I say, not what I do. And I don't respect that. And I know you don't respect that, and people with a brain don't respect that, but people hear sound bites they like, and that's what they vote for.
Well, you know, it's interesting, you know, backing up to the whole, you know, well, you don't want people to have access to health care, blah, 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 and people are going to die if this repeal goes through. There's an interesting story that I've seen making the rounds that actually happened the eve before the Republicans flubbed the skinny repeal. There was actually a couple, I believe they were 55 and 57-year-old respectively, who jumped from their apartment building off of a ledge and committed suicide because of their mounting debt, because of their inability to access health care anymore because their deductibles were too high. And they literally, in their suicide note, they blamed Obamacare. So for all of these people that are like, you don't care about the people that are not going to have access to health care anymore because you're taking their insurance away. These people that now, yes, technically have insurance, still can't afford to use it anyway. So what is the point of having insurance when it doesn't do anything?
And that's exactly right. Thankfully, my youngest is very healthy. But he got ear infections all the time as an infant. But we had an Obamacare plan through my ex-wife's bar association. She's an attorney. And guess what? He needed tubes in his ears. We ended up paying for it out of pocket because our deductible was so high. All the care, the surgery, all the care, et cetera, still didn't meet the deductible. So we ended up just paying it out of pocket. We didn't even claim it on the insurance because if we'd claimed it on the insurance, then we would have had to pay even more out of pocket.
Now that's crazy.
So I can't imagine folks that have sick children. I mean, you could talk for a whole show about Charlie Gard, but you know, these folks that have got truly sick children and they can't afford it now. They work hard, they've got insurance, but they can't meet the deductible because it's insane.
No, that's the thing. I mean, we literally are giving people a piece of paper that they can't use because it makes people feel better. And it goes back to the exact same thing that we've been talking about. There are private sector ways to fix this. As an example, I know of a guy that started a group of clinics in Kansas. There is actually one of the clinics here locally in Oklahoma that is run out of Yukon. You can pay a flat $50 per month, and you yourself can go see that doctor as many times as you need to per month by paying them that $50 copay one time per month. And if you're adding your children to that, it's like $10, $15 a kid. Now, you take that and couple it with a catastrophic plan, which are illegal under the current system and the current setup, and you could basically be paying about roughly $300 a month to basically have access to full coverage healthcare because you could go to the doctor as often as you need to. They've worked out deals with a lot of the pharmacies to give people like $3, $4, $5, $6 prescriptions, and this is an actual free market way of fixing things. But we don't focus on that anymore because everybody's convinced that the government's the only way to fix the problem. And on that note, we got to take about a 2-minute break. This is a network one, so I got to take it. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org. All right, folks, welcome back, and I'm still with my guest, Ben Wilhelm. This is America Off the Rails. Actually, we're rounding about third base at this point. We've got about 14 minutes left of the show. One last break to get out of the way here in a few, but we've still got lots of time to talk. All right, so actually, you said you had a text from someone that was listening to the show that had a pretty good point since we were talking about socialized medicine, so you are...
Yeah, Mike Moore did that whole movie about how great Cuba's socialized medical care was. And yet, what did Castro do when he was diagnosed with cancer? He brought in medical staff from Spain, because his own healthcare system that he created, that the people like Michael Moore tout as being so great, was not up to the challenge. People talk about Canada's system because they're obviously one of our closest neighbors, and they've got such a great system. Well, guess what? People with money in Canada cross the border and come here to pay out of pocket, because if they use Canada's socialized medicine, they're going to get their MRI for free, but it's going to be 6 months from now. And how many diseases, et cetera, can an MRI detect? That, well, good news is you're not paying for your MRI. Bad news is we caught it 6 months too late. So what is the point of having it paid for if it's not going to save your life?
And it goes back to something else that from across the pond, because I remember, I believe it was Katie Couric when they were doing the Olympics over there, and she had managed to hurt herself, and she kept telling everybody, I really do want to go through you guys' your regular medical clinics, because I think that's something that we need to have in my country, and I want to be able to tell people how it is. And they kept looking at her like, are you crazy? You have money. No, you come over here. You go to these places because you have money. And whether we like it or not, the things that Donald Trump has talked about in that 60 Minutes interview that everybody swears was edited and it wasn't actually him saying it, that's exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about socialized medicine for the poor, private medicine for those that can afford it. That's the same system they have in Great Britain. And we're seeing how well that works when somebody from America wants to go check it out, and they're pushing them away from it against their will because they don't want them to go through it. Tells you how good that system is when you want someone from another country who actually says, hey, I want to check this out because I want to see if it'll work for us. No. You have money, you go over here. That should tell you everything that you need to know about socialized medicine right there.
And on this topic, unfortunately, I can't even afford the plan that my work helps pay for because the deductible's too high. I'd never be able to get it. So I am a veteran, and I get my health care from the VA. You want to talk about how bad that system is? And it's not on all the doctors and nurses who are trying to do the best they are, but everything they do is regulated by a bureaucrat that has no idea what they're talking about and leaves veterans like myself holding the bag. And that's what the system they want for everybody. I challenge anybody who wants a socialized medical system to have to live under the VA for a couple of years, and let me know if that's still what you want.
Yeah, no, I know, right? I mean, not to bash on the VA, but let's look at this rationally for a second, because any time up until Obama was elected, when the Democrats tried to push the idea of socialized medicine or centralized healthcare onto the American people, they touted the VA. And, well, look how well the VA runs. Look how great it is. And then the minute that they rammed through Obamacare, we start seeing all these little cracks in the armor that was the facade of the VA, and all of a sudden we find out how terrible it actually has been this entire time, but they were hiding it because it was their little poster child for if you let us do things this way, you'll get this kind of health care. Oh, look, people have been secretly dying in long lines for years, but you guys were cooking the books, so we didn't know. Yay for us.
Exactly. and that's exactly. And I mean, I'd be happy to pay for my own. I'd prefer to pay for my own healthcare system. Unfortunately, Obamacare has made it absolutely unaffordable. So even if I go and spend the hundreds of dollars a month to get a subsidized system through my work, you know what? I still can't afford it because I'm never going to see any of the benefit of it unless I have something absolutely catastrophic happen to me, God forbid. But I would practically need to get a terminal illness for that to ever pay off because the deductible's so high, I'm going to be paying out of pocket on top of what I'm already paying for insurance. So it's absolutely insane.
And that's honestly what makes me crazy about all this. It is the fact that the Republicans ran on the concept of killing this thing for 7.5 years. They floated... When it didn't matter, they floated a clean repeal of this bill 60-plus times and said, well, look, guys, we can't get it done because we don't have the White House. So we give them the White House. They've now had the White House for, we're going on almost 8 months now? And still, now they're, we can't get it done because the other side won't work with us. We don't need the other side to work with you. You already got it passed with less numbers than you have right now. Put it on Trump's desk.
Yeah, well...
But they can't.
The other side didn't feel the need to work with the GOP to screw it all up. Why do we feel the need to work with them to fix it?
I don't know. I mean, what concerns me is honestly because Trump's shifting his focus now, and I have heard a lot of people buying into this because now that it didn't happen, he's like, let it implode, and then we'll come back and we'll make a deal. The problem is
Trump's shifting his focus, so it's been 10 minutes.
Actually, closer to 5. But I see your point. But as far as that goes, the problem with that is let's not forget that a little known secret of the Obamacare plan, and you can see it in the way that it's actually not worked because it hasn't. It's been designed to fail for the entire time it's been in existence. It was designed to fail at about the time it's failing because they honestly thought there would be another Democrat in the White House right now, and then that Democrat would be able to swoop in and say, look, this stuff is too far gone. The insurance companies are completely obliterated. We don't have a choice now. We're going to have to do single payer to fix it. The problem with that is if Trump lets it fail, it's still going to happen. The biggest problem with him letting it happen is, let's not forget, he actually wants single payer in the first place, and he told everybody as much, but nobody wanted to believe him.
Oh, I totally believe it. It's one of the few things he's ever said that I do believe. And you know what, though? If the Democrats take back the House and the Senate next year, you watch. I bet he's going to spend more time working with them to get a single-payer system in place than he ever spent trying to get the GOP to do what they promised.
Dude, okay, so we've got to take one last break, but I got to get this in real quick. So if the Dems take the House and the Senate next year, which if something doesn't change, they likely will, no matter how crazy things are going right now, listening to Trump on TV, it's going to be like watching Bubba J from Jeff Dunham. Oh, look, another left turn. All right, we got to go. Got to take a break. We'll be right back.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
All right, folks. Well, believe it or not, we are just about out of time. So as we always do when we have a guest on, the last couple of minutes are going to be for the guest. Mr. Wilhelm, why don't you remind folks where it is that they can interact with you, all those fun social media contacts, etc., for anybody that wants to keep up with you once the show's over?
Great. Well, you can read my writings at the New Americana. You can, they're at Social News on Twitter, and I am at Federalist Ben. Federalist BEN on Twitter is my handle, and you can find me. I'm the goofy-looking bald guy with the goatee. So you'll know that when you see that goofy smile, you know you've found me.
Whatever, dude. Only one of us has a face made for radio. Don't try to steal my gig over here.
Well, I want to thank you for having me on, Rick. This has been a blast.
You are more than welcome, sir. We should do it again sometime. All right, folks, this has been my guest, Mr. Ben Wilhelm. Again, he is a writer for the New Americana. I do encourage you to check out his work there. That is actually going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. Now, we've been taking a break from Jen and Rick for the last few nights to try to get some things worked out behind the scenes and get some interviews scheduled, etc. The good news is we've got most of the behind-the-scenes work done, so I'll be back with you live tomorrow night for a double shot right here on KLRNradio.com. And we'll be here for Jen and Rick at 10 Eastern, and then we'll cap off the night with America Off the Rails at 11 Eastern. And then I'll be back with you Friday night, that's right, we're almost there, for the Robinson and Wright Show right here at 11 p.m. Eastern on KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign. That is going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. I do hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Take care and take heart, because remember, it's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We're almost done. We'll see you tomorrow.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
Giggity, 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 let's have sex.